This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We were talking about very important topic in ETL, in SSIS especially, that is how to perform incremental loading. Okay, we had seen couple of features. One is that how can we perform incremental loading with the help of a lookup transformation, and how can we use SCD transformation to perform the incremental loading, and what are the positive points and what are the negative points of SCD and lookup also we discussed. And today I'm going to be discussing about merge statement from the SQL Server. So many people nowadays recommending this. This is pretty much easy, but if you're interested towards coding, then definitely you will love to use this. So it is merge statement of SQL Server, which is also faster, and you can also use this. So let us talk about how to use merge statement and how can we perform incremental loading with the help of a merge, right? So this is from the SQL Server. It is not merge from the SSIS. SSIS also we have a merge transformation, right? So I'm not talking about merge transformation. So when you go to data flow, you should be able to find out merge transformation. I'm not talking about this transformation. Clear? I'm talking about merge statement from the SQL Server. So let us talk about it. So merge to perform the incremental loading in the SQL Server end. It is one of the DML statement placed in SQL Server 2008, almost 12 years back. Merge statement is combination statement that can perform insert, update, delete statements based on whether rows that match the selection criteria exist in the target table or not. Okay, so always we know if you wanted to perform incremental loading, only two things. Okay, whether you have data here or not. If you have the data, whether it is matching or not matching. So merge statement also will use only two things. Clear? Whether you're getting the matched data. So matched data always will give it for update. Remember this point. Unmatched data or no matched data. No matched data always we're going to be giving it for insert. If you know these 2 points, you can use merge statement very easily. So one and there is no one here. So it is going to be unmatched data. So unmatched data is going to be coming as here unmatched data. And the two, also there is no matching entry. This is also going to be coming as a unmatched data. If it is unmatched, now what we do? We insert the data into the dimension table. That's what we're going to be doing it. If it is matched, so if one and one is already there in this, so now let us say these two rows will get inserted. Now it will get matched. So one and one is matched here. So if one and one is matched, so then what I should do? I have to go for the update. Okay. So that is what is called update here. So unmatched data insert and matched data update. Same syntax I'm going to be using it here. So now you can understand the same syntax. Merge target table as target. This is the syntax of SQL Server. You have to say merge target table as target using source table. So here dim employee. Clear? Dim employee as you give some alias using source table as source on condition. On condition means this is the condition where source dot employee ID is equal to destination dot employee ID. I'm giving you a alias as a source. I'm giving alias as a destination. Okay, so I say source dot employee ID is equivalent to dist dot employee ID. Clear? That is what is on condition. When matched, then what should I do? I told you already, when the data is getting matched, you update. That's it. So when the data is matched, then you update. When target not matched, I told you, right? Not matched. So unmatched means these people are saying not matched. That's it. Only uh, this one. If they're not matched, they're saying insert. See this? The same thing. If you know matched and not matched are unmatched, the same thing will get implemented here. Matched data will get updated, not matched data will get inserted. That's it. So for update statement, you should be able to write. And when target not matched, then you have to insert the data. So that's it, nothing else. in the merge statement as well. So let me create one demo and so go. I'm going to be creating one more database called MergeDB. You need not create a separate databases, but I'm creating separate database for MergeDB. So I think I have created already. Let me refresh it. I have created MergeDB. So there is a table called employee table. So this is the table. I have it. Let me see the data. Do we have any data here? So I don't have any data. Let me insert first three rows there. Okay, this is my source. Clear? So what is my source? This is my source table, or you can say OLTP table. And I have some data inside this table. Clear? Now I want to create one more table, destination table, and it is already created. I should not create once more. I have, this is my source table, this is my destination table, and let me say this is my destination table. So two tables are ready now. Now I have to write my logic. So logic is very, very simple. You need to write like this: merge dim employee as D. So this is your target table. That's what the syntax says. Target means a destination table, right? So you need to say merge is the statement. You need to start with that. Merge dim employee as a D, or you can say destination. You can say source, or you can say source. Whatever you would like to give, you can give. Doesn't matter. I'm simply giving D as a alias and employee S as a S. Now, on what basis this going to be, matched? So we're going to be having, yes, I have given as a name. I have given name as D here. S dot employee ID is equivalent to D dot employee ID, or D dot employee ID is equivalent to S dot employee ID. You can have anything. A equals to B, B equals to A. You can write D equals to this one, or you can also write in the reverse order. So it doesn't matter. Okay. So you can also write like this. So S dot employee ID is equivalent to D dot employee ID if these are matching. So the first condition, if this and this is matching. So that's what I'm going to be writing. So if it is matching, then what we do? I'm saying when matched, what is matched? Matched means 1 and 1 is matching. That's what I'm writing. If 1 and 1 is matching, okay, then somebody has updated this to 1200. That has already exported the data. This is now got updated to 1200. When 1 and 1 is matched, so that's what I'm saying. So I have given a condition. If this is matched, and what I'm saying, remaining columns are unmatched. So this is what you need to say. D dot name is does not equals to, it is does not equals to S dot name. If this is matched and this name and this name does not equals to, or this salary and this salary does not equals to, if that is the condition, now I am saying, then you update. Clear? So what will happen? This is matching, and John and John is matching, and 1200 and 1000 is not matching. So it is not matching. What I'm trying to do, I am trying to update what? I'm trying to update this fellow. What I'm trying to update now? I'm trying to update. Now see, D dot name update, D dot name is equivalent to S dot name. D dot name is what? D dot name means this is a D. Try to understand. D dot name should be updated to S dot name. So whatever be the name that you have it here, this needs to be overwritten here. And D dot salary should be updated with the S dot salary. That means this is going to be overwritten. So it is going to do a row by row operations. Am I clear? So that is how it is going to be doing. Then now it is going to be going and taking, if 2 and 2 is matching, okay, then we are saying and is compulsory, and remaining columns are do not match. If D dot name, this name doesn't match, or this salary and this salary doesn't match, then only you update. If everything is matching, you don't update. So only here this data will get updated. Clear? Let me insert two more rows here. So let us say any 3000. Now what happens? So 3 and 3 unmatched data. unmatched data. So that is for the insert. Okay. For the insert also I said, right? Say already, so we are comparing this. If this and this is unmatched, so not matched by the target, then directly you insert into destination values coming from the source. S dot EAD, S dot name, S dot salary coming from the source. So you have to insert the data. Whatever be the unmatched data that you have it here, all the data will come and it will get inserted. So that is what is called inserted. Now here we can also perform delete, but in the data warehousing, I told you, delete is not compulsory. Delete is not at all required in the data warehousing. But whatever be the reason, if you wanted to delete something, for example, somebody has deleted, this guy has, let me include this as well here. Now I have the data here. Now this fellow has resigned from the company. When they resign, now always what you do, you're going to be checking this data with this data, and something is here, this is not there. So that means this guy is got deleted. You're going to be comparing not employee with dim employee. You're going to be doing in the reverse order. Dim employee data, you're comparing with the source data if something is not matched. So that you're going to be deleting. So for that, you have to say delete not matched by the source. Try to understand. You're going to be comparing destination with the source. Clear? So it is comparing when not matched by the source. Already we have given a condition. So it is going to be mapping. It is matching like this. One, do we have one here? Yes. Do we have two? Do we have two here? No. We have three. We have three here? Yes. So something is not matched here. So this row you're going to be getting deleted. Okay. So here I'm saying simply then delete. Whatever be the row that is not matched, simply delete. And a semicolon is compulsory. Remember this. Whenever you write, merge statement at the end, you have to use semicolon. I don't want to implement this here. So simply you have to put semicolon here. Okay, so that is how you have to work with this. If you wanted to have insert, you can have insert. If you wanted to have update, you can have update, but semicolon is compulsorily you must use it. So this is the syntax. Always we have to give the condition. If this is matched, what is matched means what? If this is matching and remaining columns are not matching, you can give like this. If the remaining columns are not matching, okay, you need to put end condition here or condition. What many people will do, they will also put end condition here and they'll put or condition here. So it is not going to work. It has to match and remaining columns unmatch. Then you have to say update. So D means the destination column has to be updated with the source column. Destination column need to be updated with the source column. This is for the update. When not matched, so that means I am comparing employee ID to employee ID. If it is not matched by the target, now insert into which table? Because you're inserting into dim employee table, merging the data to this table, the data will go and the source data that is going to go. S means source data, it is going to go. So this is a syntax. If you have at least one row or 1,000 rows, when you have it, all the data is going to go to this. Clear? It is not going to be doing one row by one row. It is going to be performing, batch operations at a time. It is also very, very fast. And deleting is also correct when not matched by the source. That means it is going to be comparing in the reverse order. I told you if somebody deletes the row here, it is going to be comparing from the destination to the source. So it will take one row. It is going to be comparing. Do we have one here? Yes. Do we have two here? No. Do we have three here? Yes. So if it is not there, so this data is get deleted in the destination table, not in the source. Source already have deleted. The deletion is going to be happening in the destination. Clear? So you have a matched and you have unmatched. And when you do it in the reverse order, if you don't have a matched record here, we're going to be deleting. So remember this point always. We are not going to perform delete operation. So we are going to be putting the semicolon here. Semicolon is a must. Clear? So if you wanted to execute like this, you can execute directly here. I don't have any data. Let me show you. I don't have any data here. Let me execute the complete command from here to here. You need to execute. So that's it. It is telling me 3 rows got affected. Clear? This is the complete code. Now you should be able to see 3 rows are available here. Let me insert 2 more rows. Okay, 2 more rows I'm inserting. At the same time, I would like to update 2 more rows. Okay, so update. So employee table set salary is equivalent to what is the salary for above sorry we have 1,000, right? $1,000. Let us make it to 1,200, where employee ID is equivalent to 1. Okay, so employee is equals to 1. Let me update this. For the employee ID equals to 2, I wanted to have some other salary for the second employee as well. I have updated 2 rows and I have inserted 2 rows. Let me show you the data in this table. I have 5 rows and these 2 salaries got updated. So you have 3 rows. Now you check the salaries here. Now you simply go to this syntax and completely you should be able to execute like this. Total 4 rows got affected. Now simply you go back and try to execute this. Now you can see you should be able to get 1,200 and 2,300. Now 2 rows got affected. Now if you delete some row, for example, I wanted to delete some data here. Okay, so what I do, I would like to delete a row. Let me insert 1 row and I would like to delete also 1 row. Delete from the employee where employee ID is equivalent to 1. Okay, delete from employee where employee ID equals to 1. I'm going to be deleting the first row. Clear? Now I wanted to have this one. So this row is missing. If something is missing, I did not include a delete operation. It is not going to do any kind of a deletion there. Clear? So 1 row only inserted, but no deletion is happened because I have inserted the 6th row. Because of 1 row is being inserted, but delete operation did not happen because I did not include delete operation there. Clear? So one has been deleted above, so it is not there, but it is here. If you wanted to delete this, now what you need to do, you have to include the delete operation, remove the semicolon from here, and you put like this. Semicolon is must, right? We put the semicolon here. Now let me try to execute. Now ensure that we don't have 1, but we have a 1 there. Now let me execute the complete syntax. Okay, now it is telling me 1 row got affected. Let me check. So you don't have 1 as well here. 1 got deleted. Am I clear? So like this, you should be able to perform incremental loading with the help of this lines of the code. Am I clear? So it will be irritating job when you have a 300 400 columns in the source, because writing all the columns like this will be irritating job. Okay, so that is what is a big problem in the much, because you need to take line by line, line by line, line by line. You need to write all these things. But remember, whenever you're using merge statement, if you have a default values, those values you should not map it here, right? Because the source may be having a somewhat default value called tax 12, but in the default tax value is 12. In the destination, if you have a tax is equals to 18, so those columns you should not map here. Clear? Because if you map, that data will not match at all. So whenever you wanted to update, you need to include only those columns which are not a key columns here. So key columns should not put it here, and you need not match the default values. And if you have insert update data and times, if you have something like this, you should not put those columns. Wherever you need the updations, for example, I may have a lot of columns. For example, I may have a date of birth column. I may have a lot of other columns. Okay, I may have the father's name, mother's name, this one, that one. So you may have many columns. But all these columns you don't update regularly, right? So what is the columns you will get updated? So maybe the phone number or address or the name column, whatever be the column that is getting updated, only those columns if it is not matching. If it is not matching, then try to update. So if you have a date of birth column, if you have a father's name, mother's name, passport number, so passport number, do you think that every time will it get updated? No. If you have a social security number, if you say yes, if that is being updated, then include that column here. Okay. It is not blindly include all the columns. If you have some column in the source and that you don't update at all, so those columns you should not include. So you have to say any column which is being updated, you include only those columns here. Even though your table has 3000 columns, 4000 columns, or 300 columns, all the columns data will not get updated, right? Product ID, you never update. Product name, yeah, you may be updating. Product price, yes, you may be updating. Product category, you never update the product category. It is a stationery means stationery, it is a vegetable means vegetable. If you're updating means, then you need to ask the customer, will you update this column by any chance? Okay. So if they say yes, we update, then keep it. And if they say we don't update, then you do it. If they say I'm not sure, if they say I'm not sure, then try to update it. Because if they say whether they're updating the data or not in that column, if they're not sure about it, then you better update it. If they're saying we never update this column, we never take this column data, only first time we're inserting, later we're not going to be updating, this means, so you have to leave these columns so that we can create a beautiful incremental loading. Otherwise what happens, you never ever touch these columns here. You never ever touch whatever be the data, you have it here, and this never change, you never change this data. This data is read only mode always. If that is the case, why are we comparing here? If you say or, you can say d.dob is equivalent to yes, it does not equals to s.dob. Customer is clearly saying he is not going to update this record. Even though he is not saying, you are unnecessarily again comparing, is it changed or not? Clear, it is not going to change, because front end applications will give them the error. If you're trying to modify your your name to the bank, you try to go to the bank and try to modify the name, they don't accept it. Whatever the name printed on your social security number or onto the pan card, the same name is taken, so they don't change it. Even though you're trying to modify, this name of the column will not get modified in the source system itself. Clear. And definitely, for example, you provide a pan card number, passport number, some social security number, those, even though that is available here, those columns you should not include them in the updates. Clear. So wherever you have updates happen, so only those columns need to be included, not all the columns of the source. Try to understand this point, because if you try to understand the domain knowledge, you don't write all the columns here. That is very, very important point. What normally people would do, you're a technical guy, so you simply think only one thing, if it is not matching, I should update. Take all the columns, leave only one column. What is that column you leave? This column. This column you leave and try to get all the columns, whether it's matching or not matching. But customer is clearly saying this column data will not get updated at all. So if that is the case, you should not include it here. Performance wise also good, coding wise less, and you can also do the development properly. Am I clear? So this is what we can implement. But how do I implement in my SSIS package? Very simple. You take your SSIS package. Now right click on this new package. Now you go rename demo. So incremental loading with merge, right? So this is what I'm going to be doing. Incremental loading with merge. So you need to have a proper naming conventions whenever you create package names, or whenever you create your transformations. You have to follow a naming conventions. Otherwise, the customer will not be happy about your naming conventions. I am following a demo underscore everywhere. So you should also follow some kind of a naming conventions here. Now I would like to execute SQL. So I'll take execute SQL because this command is a SQL command. So I copy the code here. and go and double click on this. Now go to the new connection. So the existing connections I'm not going to be using. I have created a new database. Server name is dot, database name is MyDB test connection. I am going to be writing, click on this control V, right? Semicolon is a must and a done and done. Now this is the connection. Now I wanted to call this SSIS package. Now you go back. Now let us see. I have, these are the two rows. Let me insert this same row once again, and let me update, any salary to something else. Okay. So let me go and try to have any salary, let us say $5,500. Clear? So now one insert, one update I made. Now I don't want to execute it here. This row came back and any salary, it was 4,000. Now it has become any salary. Oh no, Chandni salary, it was 5,500. Now it has become, it was, 5,000. It was 5,500. Now it is changed, right? Now let me go back and I wanted to execute this package. So in execute SQL task, we can use this. So this is done. Stop this, go back. Now try to execute it. Now we can see this row got added. Now 5,500 executed like this. Or we can also create a stored procedure. Now this is my syntax. Now how do I create a stored procedure? It is very simple. You need to add two lines. Create proc. You say user stored procedure. Okay, incremental underscore loading underscore employee as begin. Then go to the end, you put end. That's it. So this is the code you are going to be writing. If you add these three lines, and this is one line, and go. This is how you can create a stored procedure. So what is a stored proc name? You are saying USP incremental loading with the help of merge. So you are writing ESP incremental loading employee. You can say using what? You can give whatever be the name that you wanted to give using underscore merge. Okay. So let me create a stored proc. So I should say where merge DB. So in this, I'm going to be creating this stored procedure, execute this. Now I have my stored procedures here. Go to table. These are the tables. And where is my stored proc created? Here. Okay. This stored proc is centralized. Tomorrow I wanted to call the stored procedure. So how do you call the stored procedure? It is very, very simple. So calling stored procedure, exec and stored proc name, drag and drop the stored proc. That's it. This is the how you should be able to call, remove the DBO and everything. That's it. So if you wanted to call a stored proc, you can call. Before calling, let me include some data. Let me insert some data here. Let me have one more new employee joined. Let us say Gaurav joined with, let us say, 6,000. Now we have one more employee joined, say 8, Maunika, let us say with 7,000. I have two inserts. Okay. So if you wanted to update something, you should be able to update. Let us say employee number 5. So who's 5? Mauli's salary 5,000. I wanted to have his salary to be implemented to this, or I would like to give his name. So I wanted to give not is, what was his name is Ms. Mauli. I wanted to have a different name, say Chandra Mauli. I wanted to update his name. Clear? So if you see his data, so you have two rows got inserted, one row got updated. So let us say I wanted to call the stored procedure. So I have created this. Now I'm not calling, simply I'm calling this. I'm not going to call this. I'm going to be calling only this. And when I'm calling, it is telling me 3 rows got affected. Now, when you go back and check, you should be able to get all the data. You can compare now, right? You have 2 rows came in here. This Chandramouli is become Chandramouli. The same stored procedure. You can simply go remove this code, delete, and you can simply go try to give only this statement. Okay, copy, go here and paste it. Click on OK, click on OK. Now you should be able to call this. Clear? You can write the SQL statement as it is, or you can also create a stored procedure. The same stored procedure that you should be able to call as part of your execute SQL task. I don't have any data flow here. I have only one thing, that is execute SQL task. Simply, you should be able to call the procedure. If you wanted to change anything tomorrow, simply come here. You can easily modify the code here. You're not going to be modifying anything in the SSIS package level. The calling statement will be as it is. You are performing incremental loading for the employee table using a merge. Tomorrow you can perform incremental loading for the department table, incremental loading to the customers table. The logic will not change, but only thing is that so delete command should not be there. Okay, I would like to alter something, means I have to say alter the stored procedure and delete this and put semicolon at the end. I told you, right? If you don't put semicolon, it will give you error. So no data warehousing will allow delete. So I would like to modify this and insert only this. Now the stored proc is modified. Clear? Even though you close everything, if you wanted to get the stored procedure back, you have to simply go to the programmability. Go here. Okay, you can modify the stored procedure by coming here, taking some time. So this is how we can perform the incremental loading with the help of, you know, what you can say, with the help of your merge statement, which is introduced in SQL Server 2008. If you wanted to see the code of the stored procedure, you can right click on this, simply modify it. Okay, you should be able to see the code. You delete this. So this is the code you have written. It is clearly saying alter. If you wanted to alter anything, we can come to here and you should be able to alter this code. Okay, other you wanted to see the code, you can see very clearly. Right click on this, you can say modify, or you can say script stored procedure as a create to new query window. The same stored program, you can see it here. Okay, it is going to be adding these 2 lines. You can delete them. So this is a stored proc which you have written. Clear? If you wanted to alter, you can say alter, and you can give some. If somebody says I need stored proc tomorrow, you can simply go and create a stored proc like this. Create to all the scripts, you should be able to get it. And this stored proc, you can send it to anybody. You simply save the stored proc and send it to anybody so that they can install the stored proc in the production machines. Clear? So whenever you're deploying your SSIS package to the production, you should also give the stored procs to the production people. Then only your SSIS package can call there, right? If you have created your stored procedures in your development server, at the time of deploying, you have to give your SSIS packages as well as your stored proc need to be given separately. You have to ask them to create the stored procs in the production servers, then ask them to deploy your SSIS package in the production servers. How to deploy that we'll see later. So this is what is very important. Am I clear? So that is what you need to understand. So how to perform incremental loading with the merge. Am I clear? So if you have any questions, you're welcome. Any questions you have, guys?
Why are you writing stored procedures now? I thought ETL was supposed to be user-friendly way of developing things. but then now
Yeah, it
we're
is
still
not
doing
your
stored procedure.
decision, right? Because even the whether it is user friendly, some architects wanted to implement. So whatever be the reason we don't have, so some architects wanted to implement some codes in this one as well. You cannot ask them why are you using it. That is their choice, and they cannot modify anything here suddenly, right? Because it is there in 2008, or if it is introduced long back, or one project is created only with the merge commands, not stds, not lookup. So people, ETL people, who are not there at the time in the company. Okay, so they had created a lot of merge statements to perform the incremental loading. You cannot ask the question, why are you implementing? That is their choice, right?
Okay, but what should we do today? Like, if you were the architect,
Well,
so
I
how would
cannot
you
see
do
nobody.
the
Yeah, if
incremental
I'm the
loading?
architect today, I don't recommend. I try to use SSIS. But if I'm saying, even though I would like to use SSIS, my client is saying no, 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 we don't need any SSIS. You implement everything in a merge. Then what you do? You don't have any
So I
other
mean,
option, right?
since you are the architect, you get to decide. So what would you
We
decide?
can decide SSIS I would like to implement, or I may implement my lookup, or I may use any other this one. If I'm the architect, definitely I say lookup and cache. With the full cache mode lookup I will implement. That is what is the default mode. But the SQL Server guy, they don't ETL at all. Then what they do?
Right, right.
They'll be implementing MuchDB,
And I
or
saw in
if
the I saw in your slide it says merge statement is recommended.
Hmm.
So who's that? Who's
So why
recommending
merge
this?
statement is recommended? Because merge statement is syntactically very easy to understand, very easy to debug. That is one thing. And merge
Mhm,
statement doesn't have any kind of a caching problems. If you don't have enough RAM, because you know about lookup and everything, right?
mhm,
If you don't have enough RAM space, lookup will take a lot of issues. That is the when we need not worry about lookup and cache here. We can use this blindly. So that is the advantage over lookup. But if you have enough memory and everything, definitely I recommend that. Clear? Because
okay.
coding wise, it is very, very easy. And ETL
Mhm,
people does not know much of SQL coding.
right,
Clear? But many times you will also have a issue with the RAM space and everything, and don't recommend SCD and other stuff. And the people can recommend to use merge statement, and merge is very easy, syntax wise easy, as well
mhm,
as you can perform without caching, right? It
right.
is faster also. Yeah.
But with these days, everyone is going to the cloud, so RAM and those are not really gonna be an issue because it's gonna scale
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you
automatically.
have enough memory, then we need not talk about that, right? So by
Okay.
default, we have something, because lot of things are given. Because even though you have 80% of people are using cloud, but what about remaining 20% people? So for them,
Mhm,
either you need to give some choices, right?
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Microsoft is giving different solution for the different people. If you think that merge is good for you, you can use it. If you think that SSIS is good for you, you can use it. If you think that
Mhm,
this is good for you, you can use it. Couple of options are available to us. The architect has to use the best one. So he can do the performance testing with the help of a merge command, performance testing with the help of lookup, performance testing with the
mhm,
help of SCD. Then he can figure it out what is the better one to use. Yeah.
okay.
But the
One
merge can be confusing with a lot of columns, right, Bas?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's just huge data. Then how do you deal with this merge?
Means what?
Like there are a lot of field names and there's a lot of updates
Yeah.
needed.
If you
I
have
don't
a
know.
lot of column names, you need to write, do the complete coding, right? So here you need to write the coding. So we cannot do anything else, right? So whatever will be the columns that you have, so that columns completely you should write it here. That is what is the negative point about the merge. If we have 300, 400 columns, you have to keep on writing, keep on writing, keep on writing. Right? So we cannot do anything. So much coding. Coding wise more, but execution wise it is also quite faster. Yeah.
Mm. But one more thing, we are not supposed to delete anything, right?
Yeah.
Normally, if
So
it
that's
is,
what I told you, right? That's what I
Okay.
told you. So I have deleted the the code as well from the stored proc. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if we don't delete, what do we do? Like, some incorrect row comes in from the source system, like an incorrect transaction. So they do like a reverse transaction. It's
Yeah, yeah. So we are not going to delete because as a developer, you don't have any authority to do anything, right? So DBA people are
right.
going to be maintaining, they'll be implementing transactions. If something is bad, they reverse it.
Okay.
They don't delete any data.
Hmm.
Okay. In the production servers, normally permission to update, permission to delete, will completely prohibited. Permission to insert also will not be given to the developers. So you don't have any other permission but for reading. Select star from the employee or select star from the employee will work for you. So it is not be you cannot update data, you cannot insert data, you cannot delete data. Nothing can be done by the developers if you have a permission in the production. Okay. First of all, you don't get the permission as a developer in the production environment. You have to
Hmm.
work in the development environment only. Am I clear?
Hmm. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, my
Anything else?
question
Yeah.
is, yes, I have
Mm-hmm.
one question. Can we not use switch case and select inside select kind of stuff also to do this? Why we are
Now,
using merge?
now tell me, if somebody is giving you something ready made and which is easy, right? And if you're using a cases inside the cases, cases inside the cases, the code is more, right? So you know the casing very well, and that is very complicated. You can do because you love to use the casing. But tomorrow, if you leave the company, if I don't get a person who doesn't understand proper casing and more coding they hate it, then maintenance will be very, very difficult for them, right? So Microsoft is giving you the new features because they wanted to reduce the code and simplify the topic, right? So 2008 it got introduced. It doesn't mean that never implemented the incremental loading before that. People have implemented using different techniques, as you said. So they were writing casing, they were writing joins, they were writing set operators, they were writing a lot of other things. So Microsoft thought that why can't we give a ready-made, feature so that people are using different concepts, and it was very very difficult. For example, you know casing very well, I know joins very well. Somebody will have if and else very well. Some people will use different logic. So end of the day, the new developers whoever comes, understanding your thinking is difficult for the maintenance activity. Clear? So merge is syntactically very good and very powerful to whenever you execute the code as well. So any any requirement can be solved in different ways. So you can use one of this easiest way. Yeah. Am I clear, Padmaja?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, please, please.
Can you implement type 2 using the merge statement?
Now, very good. So now I leave the question to you. Now you think and tell me, can we implement or not? So very beautiful question. So can we implement SCD2 in this or not? What is SCD2 or type 2? Type 2 means we have to maintain the history, right? So can we maintain the history? You tell me. If you wanted to maintain, what are the modifications you're going to be doing? Let me open this stored procedure. Let me, okay. So now, if something is unmatched, okay, type 2 means what? Type 2 means what? So if something is unmatched, for example, I got this data. So this is matched data. Everything is matching here. So everything is matching. So as it is, there is no problem. Tomorrow, somebody updates, Raj salary or John salary to 1400. Clear? If you're using matched data, if getting the matched data in the type 2, we never update. What we do? So matched data also you have to insert. You take this row, You will be able to insert the same row here. So only thing you should do it, instead of an update statement, you have to give what? Insert here. That's it. Nothing else. As it is will be there. And if you have a primary key, that you should delete it here. That's it. Nothing else. So what is the code you need to do? If it is update, you have to delete this. Clear? So let me put like this. And after then, whatever you have, you simply copy paste. That's it. So this is what is called, if something is matched and remaining things are unmatched, you're not updating it, you are inserting the same thing into a destination. So this is what is called a type 2. Clear? So that is you need to understand. Update, you need to implement what? Type 2. Anything else? Am I clear? So this is the thing that you should be able to do it. Instead of update, you have to have insert. So you will be able to get the same data, but before that you have to remove the primary key and it has to work. So let me, if I have the table, let me drop the table and do it. Let us see whether it is going to be happening or not. Okay. Let me simply take this. I have closed this. So what all we need to do, we have to remove this primary key here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You simply say not null, but if you wanted to have, so I'll say there's a dim employee. I would like to have one ID column. So that would be an integer. So this is a primary key and identity column, which is a surrogate key, right? Identity 1 comma 1. So this is, you put comma, this is what is called surrogate key that you need to implement. Clear? So let me drop this table first and create this table. Now let me modify this alter. So I'm not going to be doing something here. Semicolon is here. Semicolon has to be there. So I'm not updating. I'm implementing std2. Okay. If something is unmatched, so you have to insert the data, but not update. I have commented this line. So let me modify this stored procedure. Let me execute. So something is missing here. Incorrect syntax. Exception insert is not allowed in the when the match clause is in the merge statement. Okay. Merge is, this is having, so let us Google it. Can we use merge with the type 2 std? Let us read. You may be having a different syntax. Let us check that. These people are writing something else much. So these guys are updating, right? So now my tricky part, my statement is that when match does flag. Merge statement has to go to one of the most difficult statements. I have to wait properly. To start date, we truncate the table and set into this. New record from the source system staging table when we use binary checksum. Okay, these people are using some other, checksum method and try to import. Okay, so this is the beginning of the merge statement and the match, but the checksum is different than the record has changed. Therefore, update the existing record in the target. The dating the record when not matched. Okay. So these people have used one more concept called checksum and timestamp. Okay. So directly we are not able to do this, but let me check this tomorrow and I'll tell you this out. Okay. This is beautiful question asked. And how can we implement? The question is, you can also go through, we can give different solutions. How can we implement type 2 with merge statement? Okay, it is giving me some issue. Let me do some kind of analysis and we'll get back to you. Okay, and you can also do it and you can also get beautiful answers from the Google. I never tried this, but we'll definitely try with tomorrow. You can also try to do this. The question is, how can we implement a type 2 with merge statement? Okay, so people are using a lot of other options. You can also Google it and try to do it. So I will also try to come up with some more solutions by tomorrow because I don't want to waste the time now. Yeah, any other questions, guys? Merge will be having type 2, but not directly, maybe using a different solution altogether. Yeah. So merge is pretty much simple, straightforward, and it is more error prone when you have more and more columns. Okay. If you have more and more columns, if you don't try the columns properly, you will be, seeing a lot of errors there. Clear? Thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, you can ask
One
me,
more
and
question.
please Google as well. Yeah.
So yesterday we used slowly changing dimension transformation to do slowly changing dimension, but it contained OLEDB component, which is, as you said, is slower.
Yeah.
So is there any other way? So the only other way is using the merge statement to do SCD, or is there any other way?
You can use lookup as well, right? We have a lookup there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. There are plenty of solutions are available in the Google, right? One is
So
SCD, one is
do the
lookup,
lookup
one is
and then like execute the SQL by
yeah,
creating
yeah,
like a
that's right. Yeah.
temporary
We
staging
were
table.
creating a temporary table. Do you remember? So you can also use that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the best one because it will give you much more performance. In the real time, when you implement the S3D and try to execute the code, and when you implement lookup and try to execute the code with a temporary table, definitely the lookup will give you higher performance. Clear? Thank you, guys.
Hey, Bhaskar,